they'll have to wear diapers for the rest of their fucking lives. Think I'm overreacting? Welcome back to the Mix28 YouTube channel. Shout out to all the Logic Gang members. Those are the subscribers. If you aren't a subscriber, think about joining Logic Gang and hitting that button. Onto the video. So the second dog pack video has emerged. And is it an interesting piece like the first video, or is it just absolutely nothing? Well, if you are watching this video, then you know damn well
the answer is
Mr. Beast doesn't see people as human. Allegedly, of course. Also, Dogpack apparently doesn't even want to be a YouTuber, I think, but damn, what one hell of a fucking way to start. I am not jelly, okay? Maybe a little, you know, just a teeny weeny little bit, but one day. Some big YouTuber do something crazy as and tell only me about it so I can get some traction here. Like, just kidding though. Don't do that. I'm not legally responsible. Dogpack 404 brings on a former Mr. Beast member known as Jake Weddle, who, like Dogpack, takes the mighty step of challenging the YouTube Zeus himself. Now, neither Dogpack nor Jake Weddle are Kratos. Hell, they aren't even the almighty big boy. But even still, Jake's story and experiences are likely true in my opinion, despite what many have described in Reddit boards and YouTube comments as essentially a really weird storytelling experience. To be honest, I think it's only weird because people don't like seeing someone go through the motions of PTSD, and also Jake, being a comedian, tries to tell it in a way that all comedians speak, you know, which is they're going to take a traumatic story and try to insert comedy here and there because it's their thing. What trauma can cause this level of PTSD? Well, it wasn't war. He's not a soldier. But Jake got very close to a soldier's experience in a certain situation. What I mean by that is it was something that many soldiers likely can feel a sort of relation to, and also something that's technically not legally allowed by the rules of the Geneva Convention. That is right, Mr. Beast is out here leading his production studio into violating human rights and manipulating the human mind toward a destructive spiral just for content, which is insanity. Absolute insanity. Two things, okay? He used to do this stuff to himself. If you are a avid watcher of Mr. Beast, one, God help you. Two, he used to do really messed up stuff like this to himself, and no one really cared because it was just to himself, right? It's like, you do you. It's your body, your mind, whatever, you know? And if you're not going to hurt anybody else, cool. And secondly, just like the stuff from the previous video that Dogpack released, it is likely that this won't be the end of Mr. Beast Productions, his shitty Feastables, and his invasion of my beloved Zaxby's. And that is unforgivable. The mighty Zaxby's of House Chicken, first of its name. King of the chicken meals and the interesting sauces and the best cookies, lord of the smooth drive-thrus and protector of the itis meals, is not to be ruined by someone of a lesser house like the Hightowers ruin the Targaryens. Hashtag Team Black, hashtag Team Rhaenyra, hashtag f*** Alicent. Watch yourself, Donaldson, okay? For I will die for King Zaxby, as an honorable knight of the realm, facing any dragon fire you may bring. Allegedly.
Okay, Jake Weddle, everybody.
I'm Jake Weddle.
Most people who, if you know me from Mr. Beast, I'm a deep cut. I'm in a few of the videos, sometimes maybe purposefully kept to the shadows a little bit. I'm in the cutting room floor a lot of the time. But I've been in some videos. I've worked on a lot of them. I was there from 2019 to 2020, 2021-ish when I came back and did some more. I was there when they were authentic, and then I saw the transition to what I feel like is a company. He's like a TV show now. It went from YouTuber guy with a camera to Amazon.
So, obviously, Jake Weddle being a center point member in many videos on the channel means that he likely had a heavy interaction with Mr. Beast, and therefore, considering the evidence is right there and validation through that, it is hard for me to look at this situation and dismiss this as all lies. But Jake brings receipts along with his story, and I will either show you that later or you should check that out yourself, but it's something that I feel like you should take a look at. First, a rundown of how Jake got the point of being used as a guinea pig for a war crime run. In the video interview with Dogpack404, which is cut down and also on Jake Weddle's YouTube page, and you should go watch them both if you want more details and more of the story, as well as to come to your own conclusion. In essence, Jake got let go because he was pulling a socialist. Okay, he was a Bernie Sanders type for once in his life in this moment, which is pretty cool. There was a guy he worked with whom was making less than him and doing similar work to him. This guy had a kid and Jake didn't. Jake, despite being in videos and whatnot, felt this was wrong. So he spoke to the guy. The guy agreed with him and appreciated the support. Jake wanted to speak to Mr. Beast and his small council to bring this up, and they did. Jake claims he made his point clear, and the guy just joined him to show support. The guy probably just sat there. He just walked in with Jake, they sat down, and Jake did probably at, like, the way Jake makes it sounds like Jake did 95% of the fucking talking. The next day, they show up and get severance checks and are let go.
Man, that's messed up.
Jake is relatively unaffected because for him, this is a blessing in disguise. You know, he no longer has to work at Mr. Beast and endure the bullshit he was going through at Mr. Beast with the faking of the videos and all this other stuff and just the randomness of the workplace. But he feels bad for the guy because he wasn't expecting the guy to lose his job. Okay, moral of the story is in a capitalist society, once you pick a side, and if that side is the worker side, and you join that person in speaking out against the system, this system is going to discard you, even if you just picked a side but didn't speak at all. America.
This is America.
But because this seemed to essentially be the only outward negative against the grain instance that Jake had, you know, and he left on relatively good terms, otherwise he gets called back for another video a couple months later. Now, Jake, having committed himself to his passion of comedy and whatnot, has more or less, I guess, used up the money he got and is like, you know, sure, why not? I will come back for a video. Should be a good source of income because he is coming back as a contractor and whatnot. So he could kind of set his own like financial monetary terms and whatnot. And he had done this once or twice before after the firing. So, you know, easy money and easy exposure. Just play along. He asked what the video is going to be. And yeah, just listen to this and tell me if you find something wrong with this video idea.
And I get a call from somebody over there, and they go, "Hey, they want you for a video." I was like, "Oh, amazing, great, cool, thank God." What's the video? And they tell me the pitch. And they try to make the pitch sound like it's going to be like a walk in the park. The pitch is 100 days in solitary confinement. But don't worry, like you only have to last like 30. We have like a video. They're pitching it like at first it's gonna be like a luxury vacation. You're gonna have like a hot tub and an ice cream machine, and like part of the video is gonna be you deciding like what items am I gonna get rid of, today, and it's like the choice. They were like, it's only gonna be bad for maybe the last like 5 days tops when you have like nothing left. You're the first. It's gonna be like a breeze for most of it.
So, isolation is something the human mind and emotional strata is not supposed to experience long term. And by long term, I mean a couple of hours beyond one day. It just isn't good at all. Even introverts like myself crave human interaction daily at random times, even if it's just hanging out in the same room and saying nothing like weirdos. Jake is brought in for a video of 100 days of isolation in a room kitted out with fun shit to do, sure, but that's 100 days of no real human interaction outside of someone from the production coming in and interacting with him for the purpose of the video. So not even treating him like human, but as a content source. Simple as that. Which is purely psychotic. Whoever came up with this idea needs to be taken out back and locked into a fucking room with no windows and just forgotten about. Because that is someone who does not need to ever be allowed to be among the rest of us, okay? And sure, that may be an overreaction, but I know a serial killer in the making when I see one. My second biggest issue with this whole situation is they don't let this motherfucker sleep.
And it got to a point where like they weren't turning the lights off. I asked them, I said, can we like have like nighttime hours? And they said no, because it would fuck up the time lapse shots. The time lapse of what? Me sleeping or me not sleeping? Yeah, I saw in other videos they did like, oh, you're gonna get XYZ hours of sunlight. Oh, great! Want to know how they figured that one out? I didn't have it.
And I mean, look at that stash, okay? Just look at it. That's the stash of a mother lover and is only that pristine with a right amount of sleep each night. Also, a little insert here, and no insult to Jake Weddle, but this mofo looks a little like a younger Dr. Disrespect, and I hope he doesn't evolve into looking exactly like him once he gets older, cause holy shit, that would suck. Talk about PTSD, that's a whole new level of impending trauma. Sure, you're worth several millions, but you're also a pedophile caught in 4K and denying it, or at least look like one.
Well, that sucks.
But the experience gets worse, cause Jimmy Boy comes in and pushes some challenges into the equation among other shitty things he requests.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
One of these challenges is they make Jake attempt to run a marathon on a treadmill after days, literal days of no sleep.
Oh, okay. Oh, you crazy.
I am.
Jake hasn't trained to run a fucking marathon. Do you know the level of training marathon runners go through? These mother lovers run for days and days, 2 and 3 times a day, eat specific foods to keep their muscles from literal death, experience all manner of hellish pains, wear specific running shoes, and consume massive amounts of liquids to remain hydrated. Oh, and they fucking sleep hard. But nope, Jake has to do it without all that shit and no fucking sleep. Honestly, if Jimmy came up with this idea, I know damn well he's watched a Vietnam-era war movie about this shit done to American POWs and just thought, that would be a cool video, but how can I do it without looking like a nut job? Because this shit can only be ripped out of something stupid as fuck like that. Honestly, how in the hell Jake is still alive is a testament to the human body's ability to, just survive. Because my black ass would be dead after day 2 of no sleep. Okay? Just plain and simple. Dead.
Give you proof. Here's proof of what'll happen to you if you stay here with your
Yo, don't do it! Don't do it! Yo! Yo, holy shit, he dead! Oh, he dead for sure!
Or I would have a murder charge. There wouldn't be an in-between, because when you're fucking with my sleep, either I die or someone else is dying. Simple as that. Jake, on the other hand, after enduring this shit for days and essentially breaking down, among other things, gives up, and when they send a producer to check on him, he asks how long he has to remain in there. And the response is horrifying.
Yeah, I'm running until 3 a.m. Alright, I got off the treadmill. Oh, the blisters I had on my feet were like, you wouldn't believe, just all over, just these big red. I couldn't walk. My muscles were like just the lactic acid. I got off the treadmill, and then the people that came in to like ice my feet, make sure I was good. Then that's when I was like, I'm done. I can't. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out. And that's when I get psych in and talk to the psych about how I'm not well, and like I said, there was a lot of good people over there that was saying, you gotta pull him out. Yeah, I had friends that did some freelance work, and they would tell me, they'd be like, yeah, everyone knows you over there, everybody loves you. They go, oh, Jake Weddle, love that guy. Shame what happened to him. Like I'm a ghost. And I asked him, I said, how much longer are you guys gonna keep me in here? And the guy goes, realistically, like at least 7 more days? No.
Yeah, I would have knocked the daylights out of that motherfucker. Okay? I don't give a damn if I knew them and we were friends. Hell, we could be relatives. We could be blood brothers, for crying out loud. They are getting rocked so hard the impact would be measurable on a One Punch Man scale. I am rocking them so hard that every time in their life, before and afterwards, that they had to take a shit, they wouldn't make it to the toilet because my punch would spawn in their fucking mind and make them shit themselves automatically. They'll have to wear diapers for the rest of their fucking lives. Think I'm overreacting? Maybe. How about you try 100 days of isolation, and on what I assume was probably like day 16 or 17 with little to no sleep outside when your body gives up from a lack of it, run like 2 miles and then have someone tell you, just a couple more days, you can do it. Let me know how you'd react. So Jake gives up, and despite going through all of that shit and having Mr. Beast walk right up to making sure he doesn't sue to conclude things, he doesn't even get all the money for doing the challenges to this point. Like, he doesn't get all the money for the challenge of the isolation for 100 days.
Hell no, to the no.
He gets some money for doing the challenges and for however many days he made it, which might be longer than 16 or 17 days because he said he walked away with like 100K or something. Considering the original offer was like 300K, then he likely made it like 25 to 35 days, which is insanity. At that point, I'm taking a nap, and when I wake up, I am demanding to speak to Jimmy Boy and telling him either I get my whole amount, okay, or I'm gonna leave and return the following day with lawyers, the FBI, and Interpol, okay? One of them groups is gonna find a means to cover you in so much shit you'll wish I just hit you.
Jesus Christ!
Now, is this violation of the Geneva Convention for the chase of content going to result in Mr. Beast falling down? No. His audience doesn't give a shit about anything that isn't on the YouTube page that they can't watch. And they are too young to see how this whole thing is fucked up enough to demand some sort of change. And to be honest, the only reason why I am pissed about the situation is because a human being who wasn't an asshole person was treated like a damn prisoner of war in an internment camp. Even if it wasn't through points of starvation or some shit, this is just awful shit to do to another human being. In the video, Jake comments multiple times about how the whole thing messed him up. From insomnia to blisters on his feet to his therapist literally noting how this shit has affected him and they are very worried.
So I just want to hop in here and show some text that Jake sent me after this interview. This is July 29, 2021, a few days after he got out of solitary. How are you feeling after a few days? Better. I still couldn't sleep even a few days out, but I almost have my sleep cycle back on track. My legs and joints are good, but the blisters on my feet still hurt to walk on. Medical advice I got was not to lance them and just let them go away with time. I'm mentally still in an uneasy place, but I've gotten back on better help. My therapist is a little concerned, but we are working on things. Reminder, this is not supposed to be a traumatic life event. This is supposed to be a Mr. Beast video. Hey Jake, hope you're doing okay. Meg and I just wanted to check in on you. Hey, I'm good and I appreciate that. I'm not exactly 100%. I feel like mentally I'm still recovering a bit, but back in therapy and my therapist is concerned. Haha, but my legs and joints feel better. Like I can walk, but my feet are still covered on those blisters and those hurt to walk on. But I was told the best thing to do is stay off my feet and let them heal. I'm in Raleigh with my family. Also, it'll be like a month before I get the money, and they aren't giving me all the money. They're giving me what I won up to that point in the game, which was also a slap in the face, but hey, I'm out, I'm alive. Therapist who knows and cares about you. The whole thing was so fucked, and honestly, fuck them for not giving you the money. Meg and I are wishing you the best with your recovery, and please feel free to reach out if you need anyone to talk to or need a place to crash in New York. Hope you're doing well, man. That video you uploaded is money, so good. I appreciate. I'm doing better physically. Mentally, I'm still kind of in a place. I still can't sleep. I've slept 5 hours in the past 3 days, marathon included. I don't know what's wrong with me. Lots of thinking, too much one might say. Hope they're taking care of you where they can. I mean, I was kind of shocked they didn't pay me for the full 25, 30 days. They paid me what I made up to that point. Like even when we have to pull the plug for my mental health, the mechanism of the game is still at play. I'm just happy to be out. I still can't walk well, but it hurts less.
And any therapist out there will avoid directly telling their client they are worried or any form of that about them unless they legit believe a dangerous situation is around the corner in their patient's mind, to avoid panic or making them think their problems aren't something they can overcome and live with. I have had my own therapist say this to me only 3 times in my life, and each time it was said to me within basically 30 days, I made an attempt on my life. And sorry to get hella real here and break the moment, but legit, this shit isn't a joke at the end of the day. I am genuinely glad Jake is still here. I don't really watch his content or know much about him, but what he experienced is something that could break a human being into making horrible choices and bad decisions. And thankfully, because of that experience and him coming out in this situation, he likely will never have to experience Mr. Beast's abuse again.
I heard, people have been let go for sexually assaulting some very young people. The idea that Jimmy didn't know, or that Jimmy was covering stuff up. He didn't want stuff to come out. He's very careful about his image. The tangible proof that he knew but covered it up. How do you prove that, Well, there was a known sex offender, registered sex offender, convicted sex offender on the registry and everything, who worked there. And you can, someone pees in public, you're on the registry, you get it. You can still have a job after you're on that's one thing. You go to prison, you get rehabilitated, that's one thing. If you do your time, that's fine. I think there should be rehabilitation in this country. But that guy, from what I hear, I can't confirm or deny, from what I hear, he's on the registry for doing some not great stuff to some underage people. And they knew that. And he's working at a channel that has underage people on and around and is targeted to underage people. And they covered up the fact that not only did he work there, but he was like the manager when it all started. And that he knew, and because he'll be in videos, he'll be in thumbnails, he'll be around. And whenever he is, He's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered sex offender? And that your face can be looked up on a thing? How much more can you literally cover up a sex offender with a physical mask? Like, do I have to... Is it more on the nose, or...
Okay, first, just because someone is a convicted offender doesn't mean they shouldn't have a job. But the location of the job definitely matters. People who do what Delaware did, or even less, but still associated with the matter are mentally unwell and need to take steps to avoid reoffending. The same way a person who is an alcoholic or a drug addict takes steps to avoid relapsing. So does a pet offender have to follow the same kind of approach? Yeah. Delaware at a point was essentially a do-everything guy, according to Jake and even Dogpack, and no doubt many others. I think he was even a manager at a point of Mr. Beast, or at least like the production part of Mr. Beast. So his involvement in videos, which can easily and often did include minors or had minors on the set or in an immediate and constant vicinity and presence, is something which doesn't need to ever happen, but did. And not only did it happen, Mr. Beast was allegedly trying to get Delaware's record wiped clean. I ain't even going to look into the details of that shit because I like keeping my sanity, and as small as my sanity is, I still like keeping it, okay? But to actively try and get this cleared so he can live freely and go about his life with people not aware of the danger he could revert to is something I cannot in good consciousness just let slide. And Dogpack received an audio message seemingly confirming this alleged plan.
Okay, so finally I have a recorded phone conversation. The person on the other end of this line is a different former Mr. Beast employee talking about Delaware. Also, apparently before this phone conversation got recorded, the person on the other end of the line said that the Mr. Beast team was actually trying to expunge Delaware's record off the registry, and that's what actually like sparked this person to start recording.
He was a hustler, dude. Like, to be completely honest with you, he was a hustler. There was extra money he was made, like, he didn't know how to save for them. You know what I mean? Like, if Jimmy was like, I need a set done, and Delaware was like, would you do it for like $1,000 for one day? Just like, just go out there and fucking make a set for like 8 hours by himself. You know, I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever. And it was Reed's idea to get involved. And it was like, we need to get you an APL manager, and then we went through that whole cycle of different VPs and managers, and, you know, people that won't talk to us anymore because they're scared of Jimmy. And if you really don't do anything in the affidavits or testimonials from people, you have to move very quickly because one of those people are going to go back and say Jimmy.
Now, take that with what you will and come to your own conclusions and thoughts, but Delaware, hidden by Mr. Beast and the others, allowed to participate, is something which shouldn't be a thing. Not just because it is morally wrong and playing with fate itself, but Jimmy gives a fuck about his image. Like, he cares a lot about his image. And for him to have this guy so heavily involved, like, despite this perfectly manicured image that Jimmy constantly puts off, is weird, because this is like one of the dumbest L's that was easily avoidable. But it, whatever, right? Like, you know, you beat T-Series and the rise doesn't seem to be stopping. Or is it? Despite the drama this has all spawned and the danger Dogpack 404 is sitting on, with all the different people coming to him, revealing all manner of stuff, or agreeing with him, or making accusations and threats towards him and his family, or the real possible life-ending dagger that is coming in part 3, these 2 parts by Dogpack aren't actually going to end Jimmy's career. Despite everything that you have seen so far, the world is fucked, and stuff like this doesn't end people as big as Mr. Beast. Epstein had a whole ass journal of clients still running the world or just sitting old piles of cash underneath themselves, and they aren't sitting in jail. for what they did. Mr. Beast so far seems to have either not been involved with any of the similar or near close stuff that approaches that at his location. At worst, he knew of Ava and others' actions in a Discord and just avoided it, and seemed to be allegedly clearing Delaware of his past actions. But...
And also I have like more serious allegations that I want to start covering. Also, I heard from a very credible source that Mr. Beast has been sitting on a response to part 1 because he was worried if he posted it, I would instantly respond with part 2, you know, like this is Kids Bop, Kendrick Lamar vs. Drake. Also, I know Mr. Beast's secret CEO has been practically like harassing my people on, you know, hey, what's in part 2? What does he know? So I will just tell you, James, what will be in part 3, so you don't have to harass my people. It will be about serious allegations of sexual misconduct in the company and your direct involvement in covering up those crimes. And I'll make sure to give you full credit and plaster your face all over the screen when we talk about that.
If Mr. Beast is presented with clear evidence showing he knew at minimum 50% of this sexual misconduct taking place in his own production company, it is over, okay? At 50%, his ass is likely going to be banned by YouTube for several months. If the evidence looks and appears overwhelming, then the ban will likely become permanent. And by overwhelming, I mean at bare minimum 70%. And if Mr. Beast was involved in one incident at all, and the response he gives isn't remotely enough, it doesn't pass the charisma check, then yeah, like it's over.
All I can do right now is put on a brave face and go out there and be their leader.
It's over. We are screwed.
I know Dogpack joked about this being Kendrick v. Drake, but if that is the case, it will be so much worse than that. Kendrick's real hits in that came with just rumors and observations. If Mr. Beast is hit with evidence hard, then his third part is the one that actually might get him into several levels of legal trouble. Because he is too big for him to get accused with evidence linking him, like Dogpack seems to be chasing, and for authorities not to get involved, this is the danger of getting too big. Like many of you, I cannot wait for the next part in this saga, and I don't think I have ever watched a full Mr. Beast video before, but this shit is wild. And you know what is wilder? There is a high likelihood you have watched this video and not liked it or subscribed to this channel yet, but you still enjoy the video if you made it to this point. So why don't you do that before I punch you into suffering permanent crapping yourself syndrome? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I bet some of y'all would kick my ass. So yeah, I'm definitely just kidding. However, I would be appreciative if you did like and subscribe. See you for part 3. In the meantime, check out other videos on the channel. Peace out to the Logic Gang. Bye.